Good afternoon. Normally, this event would be held at the convention center. And prior to this point in the program, I would have spent time going from table to table, trying to get to know something about each of you, your name, department in which you work, your job title, and even the number of years that you've worked for the city, and maybe something about something that experience that's really stood out in your mind. Maybe it's some funny interaction with a customer, or maybe something just really unusual. But as we all know, these are not normal times. The last 11 months have really been challenging for all of us, but the one real constant in all that has been your dedication, your commitment, and certainly your flexibility and adaptability. And so on behalf of the City Council, really want to commend you for that. The fact is that you give great customer service throughout the year, and both to your internal customers and particularly important to the external customers, the residents and the businesses of Hampton. So I want to congratulate you, whether it's been 5 years or 45 years, on your service and your commitment. Thank you very much, and congratulations to you.
Second semester of my senior year in college, I needed to do an internship. At the time, Chris Hutton was the Commonwealth's attorney in Hampton, and he offered me an internship, and I started working there, did 2 independent study courses while I was in college, and the rest of the time I was in the Commonwealth's attorney's office and actually have not left since. I've been here since 1985. From my internship to becoming the coordinator to now being the director of the program. So quite an exciting experience, and a lot of opportunities offered to me, and a great learning experience for me as a college student that was afforded me through Chris Hutton and his office at the time. I was able to actually view the criminal justice system in its totality. So I had opportunities to visit probation and parole and the police department, and everybody just welcomed me with open arms. So, started relationships and learning those different agencies back some time ago. And of course, we still have those relationships with the same organizations and more today.
I was working for a building supply place in Newport News. I was going to go to the shipyard, but in those days, you very much had everybody in the family working for the yard. The chief probation officer for the city of Hampton at the time was the uncle of a schoolmate of mine. And I had quit my job in Newport News. I was just going to traffic court every day, just listening to the things going on there. And he engaged me in conversation. There was an opening on the survey party, unbeknownst to me. And we chatted, and he, as I say, I mentioned I'd taken some years of drafting, and they had an employee who was going to be leaving. He was a draftsman, and he was going to be leaving. So from all that discussion, I was set up for an interview with the city engineer at that time. And my story is, and I love telling it to people, is the chief probation officer for the city of Hampton got me my interview with the city of Hampton. And I kind of leave it at that to let people kind of think what they will. But no, he just happened to be the uncle, and was a city employee, and saw that I was an 18-year-old not working, just kind of hanging around the courthouse. A little strange. And as I say, I went to the work for the city, started in '66, December, and I worked on the survey party until February of '67. And I was just not, I wasn't made out to be working in the field on survey party. That just wasn't my forte. But I came into the office, and quickly, it was all strange to me. I had no idea what was going on, but quickly was able to kind of pick up what was going on and see the relationship between what the survey party personnel did and how it related to what we drafted in the office. And again, all hand drafting. And over time, I just seemed to take to it. And I was like, I've always felt like a sponge just soaking in.
I try and show compassion. for the officers. In fact, we recently had an officer that ended up in the hospital. He was a new officer, and it really struck me because he was brand new. He's from out of town. His family had moved down here, and he ended up in the hospital. And when I found out about it, I looked at our training unit and the Captain Coleman that oversees training, and I said, what are we doing with him and his family? What are we doing? And I reached out to Lieutenant Roan. I said, we got to do something for him. I said, she finally contacted him. Nobody had been in contact with him, and he had been in the hospital for over a week. I said, we can't not do anything for him. So with Lieutenant Roan's kind of took charge of it, we set up a fund account to help him because he didn't have any sick leave, didn't have any vacation. And we all reached out and, contributed some money to this account so that he could get back on his feet, because his ailment wasn't permanent, but it was one of these recurring things that he would get, and we didn't know about it. And he had a hard time in the hospital. And I told the chief, I said, we got to do something. We can't just let him sit there in the hospital, because now with COVID, his family couldn't be there with him. So Lieutenant Roan kept in touch with him the whole time, and he was able to get the money to help, pay his bills and support himself until he could come back. And he came back just this past January. And it was just so refreshing to know that we've got so many giving and caring people in this organization that will help when somebody's in need.
Came to the city of Hampton April 15th of 1985. So this coming April, I'll have completed my 36th year with the city. I'm currently the Deputy Director of Community Development, and which is a fairly large department here in the city. We have a wide range of activities, anything from permitting, inspections, planning, our neighborhood division, working with neighborhoods to build their capacity. So it's a pretty wide-ranging mission for the department, but I enjoy every day that I'm here.
Well, I told you I started at Hampton City Schools as a teacher assistant. I did that for about 13 years. And I saw the children, in the classroom. And I was, always looking. Back then, you had to go to City Hall and you looked through a book that was probably this thick, full of all the jobs. You didn't go on the internet. So occasionally I would go and check it out and see what was available. And there was a job where you do home visits. You go into the family's homes. And I thought, wow, that's so neat, because in the classroom, you hear about what the kids do at home, but you don't really get to see their home. So I just thought that was interesting, and I applied for the job. And I think you might know Sarah Gabriel. She was in charge at the time, and I would talk to her, and she told me, she said, call once a week and I'll let you know the status of the job. I bugged that lady to death. And then finally I got an interview and I got the job. And 20 years later, I'm still doing it and I love it.
Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the wonderful accomplishments and years of service of so many great public servants. Having been here in the organization over 30 years myself, I've had the pleasure of working with many of the people we're honoring today, and I can tell you, just as all of our employees do, these folks really have put their heart and soul into our organization. We know people don't go into city government to make the money. They go into city government to make a difference in the lives of residents and communities, and we do every day. As Mayor Tuck said, we get many compliments from our residents about the phenomenal work our team does each and every day. And every one of the servants that we are recognizing today have been a big part of making Hampton a better place for our residents to live, our employees to work, and our visitors to enjoy. I often reflect on the fact that we spend more time at work than we do with our own families. And so it's especially important that we have camaraderie and team spirit, that together we do wonderful things and celebrate and recognize one another. It's really unfortunate that COVID doesn't allow us to be together in person today, but please know that the well wishes, appreciation, and just thanks for many years of service, whether you're a 20-year service employee we're recognizing today or someone who served 45 years. We really do appreciate each day that you come to work and how you contribute and make our city better. And the fact that we're saying this by video does not take away from the heartfelt sentiment at all. I look forward to a time where we can celebrate together in person and really talk about what these years have meant to each of you and our community in a more personal way. But in the meantime, please know that on behalf of a grateful community and a workforce that I happen to represent, we really appreciate all you've done and look forward to recognizing you and again in 5 more years. Please continue to stay with the Hampton team, and we will continue to do great things for our residents. Thank you.
And now for 20 years of service, Michael L. Adams, Fire. David W. Ambrose, Community Corrections. Kevin J. Bradford, Police. Eric J. Brockwell, Information Technology. Daryl E. Clark, Parks, Golf Course. Jacqueline G. Edens, Commissioner of Revenue. Robertina Farmer, Wastewater Operations. Cynthia H. Firk, Youth, Education, and Family Services. Zachariah L. Frederick, Police. Jacob P. Hall, Solid Waste Operations. Waylon R. Harris, Fire. Sylvia J. Hill, Youth, Education, and Family Services. Anton D. Johnson, Maintenance Center. Teresa R. Jones, Police. Jason A. Knight, Fire. Catherine N. Labar, Social Services Administration. Karen B. Lawrence, Police. Robert G. Little, Police. Melanie A. Markle, 911. Janelle L. Martin, Police. Heather M. Matthews, Youth, Education, and Family Services. Letha E. McMillan, Youth, Education, and Family Services. Mary B. Nottingham, Police. Catherine M. Novak, Police. Paula E. Scheck, Police. Mary S. Shorens, Social Services Administration. Rachel A. Seals, Police. LaWanda A. Turner Hamlin, Social Services Administration. Marva M. Williams Harris, Police. Brian T. Wilson, Traffic Engineering. Latrina M. Wright, Youth, Education, and Family Services. Michael C. Zolakavitz, Fire.
And now we'd like to recognize those employees with 25 years of service. Omar Talib Allen from Solid Waste Operations. Keith R. Anderson from Drainage Maintenance. Angela Britt from our fire department. Lynn Sherry Miller, also from our fire department. Antoinette Clark from the City Treasurer's Office. Mary L. Cloud from Social Services Administration. Curtis Crouch from the Police Department. Quincy Daniel from Drainage Maintenance. Diane E. Doswell from Social Services Administration. Barbara A. Dunn, also from Social Services Administration. Melissa R. Fanning from the Community Corrections Unit. Mary L. Fugere, our Conventions and Visitors Bureau Director. Christopher Hake from the Police Department. Danielle Hodges, also from our Police Department. Ronnie J. Keffert from Wastewater Operations. Ann Meninga from Information Technology. Arthur W. Mertz from our Parks and Rec Department. Patricia Neal from Public Works Administration. Stephen M. Rohde from the Police Department. Cheryl A. Roland from Community Corrections. Derek M. Scalise from the Fire Department. Cheryl L. Steele from the Police Department. Lori Thomas, the Director of our 311 Customer Call Center, and Elizabeth A. Wilson from our Public Library.
And now 30 years of service. Kenneth D. Clark, Fleet Services. Carl S. Daughtry, Finance. D.A. Ritter, Social Services Administration.
And now we'd like to recognize those employees with 35 years of service. Ezekiel Curry III, Drainage Maintenance. Walter S. Flora from the Fire Department. James A. Macklin from Wastewater Operations. John E. Miller from Drainage Maintenance. Carla C. Reeves from our Victim Witness Program. Stephen I. Shapiro from Community Development. John E. Tucker Jr. from the Fire Department. Wanda M. Webb from our Parks and Recreation Department. James E. Williams Jr. from Drainage Maintenance. Congratulations.
40 years of service, Terry H. Phillips, Social Services Administration.
And today we are recognizing an employee with 45 years of incredible service. Join me in congratulating Thomas W. Crispell from our Public Works Engineering Department. Thank you for all those years of service.